Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder aboard the Rooikat MTTD, which is fast. Under optimal conditions, which shall now be demonstrated here, you can reach ridiculous speeds. If you stay on the road, you then have best optimal conditions, and then you can go, as I said, really fast. The Rooikat MTTD is in many aspects very similar, yet decisively different to the Rooikat 105, the premium British light tank. And this one is the Tech Tree South African sub-branch Tech Tree version. And it has an autoloader, yet the same reload. And watch that, satisfying kill on an XM1. And we are actually able to get into position. And we massively overextended, but nobody expects here the British light tank Inquisition. You see what I did there? And this is one kind of a position in War Thunder. Too rare are large maps, too rare are hiding spots, ambushes, where you can scout and observe the enemy movement, report to your team, and take out enemy flankers, win the flanking battle. That is sadly too rare. And we need to have more large maps. When I say we need more large maps, I mean we also need to optimize the old ones, because so far, mostly, sadly, it's just driving on large maps, just a bit more than on small maps, to end then in close quarters fights anyway. But back to the vehicle. I think that this is a fun tank and I love it. So, the tank has paper for armor, and we're looking here between 10 and 15 millimeter on the turret, 20 to additional 10 millimeter plating, with the lower plating or lower glacis on the hull being 30 millimeter at best. Not really well protected. Also, in contrast to the Rooikat 105, we have only 3 crew members, 2 of which are in the turret, because we have an autoloader, and that means the majority of the 32 shell complement is in the back of the turret in a 20 pieces ready rack, and that is a quite sizable amount. The rest is in a side ammo rack in the hull below the turret, just like with a Tiger 2, Panther, you know, a similar style. What about the mobility? Let's talk about this in just a moment. I just demonstrated where this tank can go really fast. And it is true that on paved road or hard terrain, it can really go quick. I also think that in contrast to other wheeled tanks, this also has a bit better ground pressure distribution because of its 8 wheels. The turning circle though is a bit more sizable. We're looking at roughly a horsepower to ton ratio of 20 for a 28.5 ton tank being powered by a 567 horsepower strong engine. 120 kilometers per hour is the theoretical top speed. The best that I could do was around 86 in the first scene that you saw. And in reverse, it's still a more respectable 40 kilometers per hour. What about the gun? Yeah, the gun. The GT7 cannon features, as I said, 32 rounds of ammunition and has an autoloader that gives it a 6.7 seconds between the shots. That is the very same that you can get out of the Rooikat 105 with a fully trained ace crew. However, if you lose a crew member, then it's more. If you're down to 2, it's significantly more. Whereas with this one, as you can see, it still keeps it, which is an advantage. However, you rather rarely end up surviving a direct shot because of the ammunition being in the back of the turret, and you know, very often you just get killed with an APFSTS straight through the entirety of the vehicle. But in some rare cases, it happens. Now, the ammunition is the usual one. Your stock grind, and we have to talk about the stock grind here, is the DM12 Heat FS, 400 millimeters of penetration, 1173 meters per second muzzle velocity, good scope, a good magnification, and also thermal imaging, although what I think is first generation, or at best low tech second generation, whatever, is only for the gunner, nothing for the commander. Then as a tier 2 upgrade, you get the DM502 hash round. And then as a tier 4 upgrade, you get the DM23 with 337mm of penetration and positive normalization at 60 degrees angles of attack, means 195mm of penetration with a muzzle velocity of 1455 meters per second, decent post-penetration damage, and easy to lead, easy to aim. You get the deal. You also have a good laser rangefinder and artillery support, and obviously the mobility upgrades are really important. And then the only source of smoke is the ESS. The second main difference to the premium Rooikat is that you have no machine gun, and that got me killed once, not gonna lie. For instance, just to give you an example, you cannot kill potato trucks. You have to load the hash round. And while you have an autoloader, sometimes it can be too late. That is rather rare these days, but it happened to me once. Maybe I show an example here in just a moment. But here, for example, also those stone walls, you cannot really shoot them with the light machine gun, where then they get kind of transparent for moving through before they then sink into the ground. And I mention this because it costs you, if you drive through them, speed. And this thing needs to be speed. There are two more things that I want to say about this tank. First of all, I really love the look of the gun emplacement of the turret. It looks really cool. And I really enjoy playing this tank. I better go back to play the Rooikat 105 to grind a little bit more in the British tech tree. I think the entire line at higher tiers is a blessing for the British. You get more mobility. You get now another much needed light tank. This really complements the lineup. And just let's have a look at the lineup of 8.7. You have the premium Rooikat 105 and the premium Shotcal Dalet. They are kind of a basis, if you want to see it. But you also have the Chieftain Mark III, the Chieftain Mark V. You then have the Warrior, you have the Striker, you have the Chieftain Marksman, and you have the Rooikat Mark 1D. So this is kind of the 8.3 lineup, minus the Rooikat 105. And now you go into the 8.7 bracket, where you have the ZT-3A2, the anti-tank missile carrier. Then you can use the Rooikat 105. Now you can use this Rooikat MTTD together with the also other tech tree Rooikat Mark 1D. You have the Oliphant Mark 1A, and also the ZA35. So there is much new stuff together with the old stuff. You have now huge variety, you have backups. You now are playing very competitively. By the way, I'm pretty sure I pulled here the trigger first. Let's now include here the scene where the lack of machine gun kind of, didn't really kill me, but cost me a kill, and then I was really extra sad. So I hear a helicopter, but I also hear an enemy tank. I have APFSDs loaded, and you kind of see that I have hash. And here I make the mistake that I didn't load the hash round. I get incapacitated, and my gun breech was knocked out, and I couldn't do anything against the potato truck. Even a light machine gun, and I would have killed him. Anyway, let's move forward. Abandoned factory. Hard terrain. You can move really quickly. The problem is, if that benefits you as a wheeled tank, so it does with the Italian guy. And I cannot believe that he actually got that hit into me. That was just disgusting. However, I only lost, quote unquote, my gunner, which was really lucky. And I disable him, I immobilize him. Maybe I could beat the reload. I don't know how good his crew is. But he actually gets killed by one of my teammates. And now, because I'm a very careful driver and I want to seek refuge, I take shelter to hide, to be safe, between fuel tanks, because this is War Thunder. And this is also a demonstration where this tank can serve very well as a support vehicle. To be honest, again, I enjoy to be mobile. I enjoy to have another toolbox of not just an artillery strike, but also the very powerful gift of being able to scout and helping your allies repairing, which I did quite often in this tank, just for good measure. And oh boy, I cannot believe that I got away with this. This should have killed me big time. And then through the wall we shoot. I have no idea what shell he loaded. Was it an HE round? I don't know. Any shell type should have killed me there. But I'll take it. So here I look over the fuel tank. I scout here a T-54, I think. And then through the gap that I just shot before, and I cannot believe that he left cover, I claim the T-55A actually. Sorry about this. So overall, there is nothing wrong with this tank. It's really fun. It's 100% not overpowered. The driving model still should be refined by Gaijin. Real tanks are very often still too slow on anything but hard terrain. And a lot of maps just sadly don't have any roads from the... Oh, that was juicy. Anyway, a lot of the maps don't have roads leading from the spawn to the objectives or into a reasonable position. And that is quite something that that sometimes leaves you slower than even a lot of the medium tanks or main battle tanks that tend to emerge at around this battle rating bracket. So I'm looking for the tank that is capping right now, and again you can see the turning circle being significantly faster than in comparison to the German Sonderkraftfahrzeuge at a lower battle rating. One shot in here the Mars 15. Gotta try out that beastie light tank of the French soon. But again, you can see this is actually pretty good going in reverse as well. However, you have not really that much gun depression, if at all, over the back of the vehicle, as it is typical for so many Western tank designs that are a bit more modern. I think that shell, that heat shell I guess, must have gone through the gap of the few shells that have I expended. Well, that is lucky, might I say. Anyway, a lot of people have criticized me for being a bit negative when I very often describe a tank. That I just point out the bad parts after just describing the tank. But very often that can be the decisive factor of a tank, if it is good or bad, if it performs well or not. And I think mostly I try to describe it, but then also mixture in my, well, not so great experience to put things into perspective. I'm not somebody that hypes things up. But this one, to be honest, I had a lot of fun playing. And so I can full-heartedly recommend it, because especially it is also a kind of free-to-play tech tree tank. And having said that, that's it for me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, give it, subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see each other in the skies, on the waves, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.